Hello everyone, it's Honey Lou. I think I need more coffee. I've been trying to film this over and over and over again, and then I mess up, and then I don't like it, and then I change it. So we're going to be quick now. Okay, so I'm going to do a video on the decks on my desk. There's like 30 decks on here, maybe even more, but I'm going to share them with you because I got new decks, and I wanted to kind of show you what I plan to work with and the ones that I want to be surrounded by. But I did put like probably 100 decks into storage. So yeah, I'm clearing the air. This is the Medicine Woman Tarot. It's by Carol Bridges. This is the first edition. It's the colorless edition. It has like this nice papery feel to it, but it's like thick, and the cardstock bounces back. I really like the structure of this deck. So each suit, there is a story behind it. And so here it is. Okay. So the Two of Cups, this is like, you know, the Ace of Cups is the potential where they see each other, they, you know, meet each other. Then the Two of Cups is them connecting, and then they go through all these lessons, and then when they get to the Kings, this is the Exemplar of Bowls. That's when they're the final destination of them learning all their lessons, and then they are who they're supposed to be. But it's a really beautiful story, and yeah, I finally ordered a companion book for this deck, and I can't wait to read more about it. So you see the Five of Cups. It's let you know what you love go, and to see what if it comes back. You know, that scene. I do like the keywords. The line work is incredible in this deck, and I prefer I prefer the color edition over the colored edition. But I do like the colored edition because it did show me more of what was going on in the cards. It made it very nice for the eyes, I guess. But this is the Ace of Bowls. That's the potential of them, you know, hanging out, getting to know each other, and yeah. This deck works really well on its own too. It's not a very nice deck to photograph. I've tried to photograph it a few times, and I don't know, it just doesn't, it's not appealing, but in person it's very appealing. Okay, the next deck is my small Thoth. This is the 1986 version. I really like this version because it's a lot wider, and then it feels really good in the hands. It's really nice to do larger spreads, and I like this version because it's very vibrant, and then you could tell they did some touch up where you could really see the symbolism, so everything stands out in this version. It feels like a standard size, but just a little bit shorter. So I really like this version of the Thoth. And then this is a 1996, and I could show you a comparison. So it's a little bit skinnier, but the images are like the same size. So it doesn't really matter, but I just think this one's a little bit nicer. It has the two Magus cards. I really like the card stock too. But it's really beautiful. Okay, the Hermetic Tarot by Godfrey Dowson. This deck is based on the Golden Dawn. I actually just printed out this. It's the Book T, the Tarot. It's Ben Bell Wynn had this as a free download on her website. So this is a nice introduction on the Hermetic Tarot and the Golden Dawn. This deck is definitely not for beginners, and it's not a very intuitive deck, so I've been liking to just do 3 cards every day. I put it on my altar, and then I just sit there and take my time with it. That's basically all I'm doing. I'm also comparing it with the Thoth. So far, they're pretty similar, but there's so much to study. It's very well thought out. If you want a really good study deck, I would highly recommend this deck. I wish it was a little bit larger just because it's so beautiful. Also, if you want to get more into the Kabbalah, this would be a really good deck to use. And it's part of tarot history too, so it's really nice to get to know. I love the cardstock. The backs are beautiful too. This is my first black and white deck. There's not very many companion books out for that deck either. If you guys know any companion books or books that would work with that deck, let me know, because I would love to know. The Tarot di Noblet, this is my Kartograme facsimile deck. I have a handmade case for it, which is really beautiful. So the backs are like this, clear natural edges, very vibrant. So it's really easy to tell what's upright with the museum stamp. Some of them don't have the museum stamp because it wasn't a full 78 card deck. So some of the sword cards had to be restored. But it's very vibrant in color. I love the smell of it. This is a handcrafted deck, and I don't know if it's the glue, but I can't stop smelling it. It's really beautiful. And it fits perfectly in my hands as well. And then I have my other Noblet Tarot that always stays on my desk. The Noblet Tarot is definitely one of my top 5 tarot decks of all time. The Noblet is the first Marseille ever discovered, I believe. And I originally bought it because I wanted to learn just more about the tarot history, and I wasn't expecting myself to really love the deck as much as I do, but I have a really strong connection to this deck, or just the Noblet in general. I would totally get a backup copy of this one and my Kartograme facsimile Noblet, but it's a really beautiful deck. I like how small it is, so you could do larger spreads with it too, and it's perfect. And then I have my, let me see, the Numinous Astro deck. This is by Ruby Warrington and Bess Matassa. And I've been pairing it with the Goddess of Love Tarot. So I feel like these are a perfect pair together because they have rounded edges basically, and they both have like this youthful teenage feel to them. That's what I would say. I feel like this deck is a very mature deck but it's very stylish. Also, this deck is very stylish too. But they are very compatible working together. What I like to do is usually I lay 5 cards straight, you know, this way, and then I will put 5 cards below, and then I will use this as like, you know, kind of the question, I guess, and then this would be the answer, and just kind of go off from there. They both have like a similar card stock. They're not the greatest, but they work really well. The Goddess of Love Tarot actually pairs really well with a lot of decks, but so far this is my favorite one because this one's a little more simpler, and I don't know, I really like it. I think the Goddess of Love Tarot works really well with astrology deck. I have the Ritual Tarot in this bag. I love my green bag for it. This is the first edition. I love my first edition. This deck is getting softer, so it's really broken in. I love how mine is chipping because I feel like it matches the aesthetic of the deck. It's has like this grungy feel to the deck, and I'm really impressed with how sharp the images are on here. And it's very intuitive. I really love my first edition, so. The other editions have more of a sharper look to them with this, like they have a skinnier rounded, so gives it a cooler, different aesthetic to it. But I'd like this one. I'm still going strong with the Voyager Tarot. This deck hasn't left my desk either. And it's getting broken in. It's really soft now, so I really love that about it. This edition is very vibrant, and I don't know, it just has really, I love the guidebook for it, and it was a bumpy road working with this deck, but it's working out now, so I really am happy that we came to an understanding. It's also part of tarot history too. Very popular deck. The Golden Rider Tarot. The backs. I don't know who it's by. Yeah, I have the German edition too, so it's kind of hard for me to read. I think the Empress is my favorite. I really love the Death too. I just love the pops of pink. It has a beautiful color palette. The Strength card is gorgeous. Some of the cards are weird, like the Star card I don't like. The Judgment card I don't like because there's like no eyes. I was like wanting to, so here's the Star card. I almost wanted to put like little dots in the Judgment card so it looks normal, but those are just kind of minor flaws that I don't like, but for the most part it's a really beautiful deck. Let's see, did I pass it? Oh, here it is. I love the Knight of Pentacles. So pretty. Crow's Magick. I've been working with this deck for a while now, and I really love that it is broken in now. It feels a lot softer. This isn't my aesthetic, but it's a really good deck. It's very airy. There's a lot of thought that went into each symbolism on each card. Also, with even the colors. Yeah, I'm surprised this deck is out of print. I bet if it went back into print, it would be really popular. But I find this deck to be very compatible with a lot of other decks. It complements other decks really well that are my favorite, but I'm continue to still working with this deck. So I kept it out, and so far so good. This is by Londa Marks. Okay, and then I have another Thoth. This is my 1986 large edition. They both have two different card stocks. This one feels a little bit more plasticky. I haven't used this deck in a while, but I didn't have the heart to put it away. So I kept it on my desk. I really love the image quality. The colors are super vibrant. This one wasn't in the best shape, so I decided to do a micro trim, and I really love how it looks. I love the cardstock too. Everybody gotta have a trim version of Thoth. It's important. And I do recommend leaving a micro trim on the deck, because then you're going to cut off some of the, some of the symbolism. I did that with my first Thoth that I cut, and I didn't like it. So this time I decided to leave a micro trim, which works out perfectly. Also, Marlena, she did that too, and hers looks really nice. So if you ever decide to trim a Thoth, leave a micro trim. I think it looks really nice. And this one has the 2 Magus cards too. Okay, so my Carol Herzer deck stays out. This is like definitely in the top 5. Both of the decks, for sure. This deck is starting to get broken in too. It's like a lot more softer. This one's more detailed compared to my other one. And I like having both different versions of this deck. They both carry 2 different energies, which I like. But yeah. My other Carol Herzer deck, this is the Snow Starlight Tarot. It's so pretty, very thick. A very peaceful deck to look at, to shuffle. Spolia Tarot stays out because I got the Creative Tarot book. This deck is starting to get broken into. It took a long time for me to learn how to shuffle it, but now that I'm able to do a bridge, shuffling even the element cards and the astrology cards. But it's really beautiful. I really love the card stock. I wouldn't change the card stock ever. It just feels very clean and sophisticated, I guess, and stylish. I don't know. It's very stylish, very simple, very nice on the eyes. Yeah, I really like it. My box is my box is starting to get worn, so hopefully it doesn't fall apart. And that's the Spolia Tarot by Jen May and Jessica Cripson. My Misprint Thoth, I really love. This deck is very worn and loved. So I've been watching Rose Honey Rituals collection videos, and she does it like this, and so I want to give credit for her. And also Rose Honey Ritual, or not Rose, Pure Red Velvet, Pure Red Velvet, Brittany. Yes, they do it like this, and I think that's a very nice way to show the cards of how they lay out. So I was like, that's a smart idea. So this is my inspiration of laying the cards out like this. As you could see, mine is starting to scrape up, which I really love. That's why I purchased another deck, because all of my other Thoth decks are getting, they're really well broken in, very soft, and they are going to last a really long time. For this one, the cardstock is really nice. It's going to, the artwork is going to scrape off before the cards go bad. And that's why I really love the greenies, because I feel like they have the best cardstock. And if anybody that does have a greenie, I'm sure you can agree with me on the cardstock. Anyways, I really love it. It's my favorite. And I don't see any other decks with this cardstock. But if I ever made a deck, it would definitely be this cardstock. Not the one that chips like this, but I see that this is like my only deck that does that. Okay, this one's quickly becoming a favorite. This is the Story Medicine Animal Woman by Jessica Zinchuk, or Zinchuk? Zinchuk. I really love it. It's very vulnerable and healing. I love the color palette. I'm so glad I purchased it. I have a hard time with purchasing print-on-demand decks because they take so long and I'm so impatient. But I do have a few decks. Like, I have a good list of decks that I want to do. So I want to do a bulk order on a few of the print-on-demand decks. I want to get some Lennon decks and Lennon Smith's decks. I want to get this, what is it called? The Tree Spirit Tarot or something like that. Also, those other collage decks off a Game Crafter. What is it called? Craft Decadence. I would love to get that deck. And the seaweed version of this deck. So So I really love this deck. I didn't vibe with the first one, so I sold the first one, but this one is really vibing with me, and it doesn't come with a little white book, so you guys know. I think this deck would be a really strong deck if it had a companion book, but it works really well on its own. I actually ditched the tarot associations, and I just really focus on the artwork and what the artwork is saying. This is my 1978 Thoth. I feel like the 1983 and the 1978 both carry two different energies, and I really love pairing this deck with a lot of lighter tarot and oracles. But I love the image quality on the 78. There's less hues of the greens and yellows. I feel like it's very true to what the original, or what I assume the original would look like. Just because of looking at the newer German Thoth, you know, the gold edition or whatever, and the French edition, I've noticed that this deck and the other deck look pretty similar, but the other one looked a little bit more pastel, so I kind of feel like that one isn't... I feel like this one's more true, in my opinion, of what the original Thoth looked like. I love the Empress card in this one. I have two different versions of the 1978. One's that's more vibrant, and this one is a little bit more washed out, which I prefer the washed out version over my vibrant one. I put the vibrant one away, actually. Put it in my bookcase. So I was like, I don't need to have them both on my desk. So yeah, I really love this one. The backs are really nice and vibrant too. They're very true to the colors. And I like my little bag for it too. I think it matches the deck really well. Okay, another deck is the Serpentfire Tarot. This is the 6th edition. What I really love about this deck is that it has the borders, so I feel like the borders ground the deck, because it does feel very cosmic, and so without the borders I feel like it's kind of hard to grasp what's really going on. So I like the borders because it makes it more cozier, it makes it look, you know what you're looking at. This deck is so fun to pair to. I've been loving pairing this deck with other decks. It looks really good with the Voyager Tarot. It looks really good with the Goddess of Love Tarot. It looks good with Thoth. My Noblet also looks good with. So I've been having a lot of fun with this deck. I also love the cardstock. It has like a plastic feel, and it just matches the deck really well. And what I like about the Serpentfire is that each editions of this deck is all changed. Like either the borders are changed, the backs are changed, they'll change the images. So I think I want to do more research on this deck just to see what the other editions look like. But I was really happy to score this edition for $44, and yeah, it's really nice. And I want to get her other decks now. I seen that there is a sale going on for the Serpentfire and the She-Wolf Tarot. I don't know, I think I might take up on that offer. And the backs are already like that. They look really beautiful. Okay. The Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Oracle. I really love this oracle. This is the indie version. I like the way it sounds. Kim Krans is one of my favorite authors. I really know this oracle really well, and it pairs well with everything. I recommend watching Zootopia, because it's funny to match up the archetypes of the animals, and then Zootopia, you know, they have the same archetypes for, you know, each animal. And So I had fun comparing Zootopia with this Oracle. Mr. Otterton right there, and then the predators, the rabbits, the mothers, how they're like worrywarts and they prefer to settle down, and then there's the Officer Hops, who is kind of going against the grain of who she's supposed to be as a rabbit, but she's wants to be a cop, make the world a better place. Highly recommend it. I watch that movie probably 5 times a week. Okay, the Wild Unknown Tarot, I really love this one too. It's the indie version. I love this deck so much. I want to get a backup copy of this deck, just so I could use this one more, because this deck has a lot of sentimental value to me. It was one of the first decks that I ever got. I remember I just had like the basket, and this was one of the decks that I had. And it took me a long time for me to get to know it, because I felt like I needed to learn the tarot system first. But then I learned it. What is it called? Truth Story. Oh, I forgot. But anyways, there's an amazing walkthrough of this deck. Truth Story. Tarot Truth and Story, is that what it's called? But she does a really good walkthrough of each deck, or each card, explains what's going on in each card, and if you are not vibing with the companion book, I highly recommend checking out her walkthrough of this deck. This is my favorite card. It's so peaceful, and like, I don't know, it's something inside that it's really peaceful for me, and inspiring. Also, I did a lot of healing work with this deck too. I remember just like, it brings back memories of how I was then, and I was in the beginning of my healing process, and just kind of it's a reminder of how far I came. And so yeah, this is kind of the reason why I really love that deck. It just holds those memories for me, and it makes me feel good about how far I've came so far in my journey. Okay, and then I have my other Thoth. This is my new workhorse Thoth. I have a backup of this deck, so it's now my new favorite deck. Also, the cards are very vibrant. Borders are really dark. And now that it's a little bit dimmer out, you're going to see the true color of the borders. The cardstock is nice too. It's like really thin. It feels like my Misprint Thoth. They all have like the same cardstock, but some of them are thinner, some of them are more thicker and fluffier, some of them are more sturdy and kind of hard to shuffle, but they're just really beautiful altered cards, and I love that card. So I've been focusing on just using the astrology part, reading with like the astrology. I started doing that all over again, and I am continuing my studies with the Thoth. I really love it. So yeah, I just been kind of taking my time with just paying attention to the symbols, and I love it. I really love how dark it is, and it's so vibrant. I can't get over it. So I gotta show you all of it. Okay. Then the bag right here is my older Thoth. It's so pretty. This one's very worn and used, but I really love what stage it's at right now, and collecting other Thoths, it really helps with you know, keeping these decks in really good shape. So I really love this deck. So yeah, I'm happy that I found a new workhorse deck. Oh, I want to show you guys. This one I just got, and you could see that how much I've already used it. This one looks like it's in better shape. But this one was brand new when I got it too. But this one has like a more thicker cardstock, so it's holding up really nice. Also, check out the backs, how vibrant they are. They're very nice. Kazanler Tarot, I love this deck. I used this deck quite a bit in September, which usually seems like the time I usually like to use it. But this deck is also loaded with symbolism, and it's a really good deck to study. In the Crow's Magick Tarot, it talks about, you know, the keywords. The keywords are really important in that deck, and they have Sagittarius, and then they put esoteric on there, and I'm like, okay, that's probably why I really like esoteric decks, because I feel like my personality isn't really like, you know, it doesn't suit it, I guess. I don't know, but I just love these esoteric decks. And this one is just so colorful, full of detail. It's like, how can you not love it? I don't know. Okay. I'm almost done. Oops. Let's see here. Okay, this one. This is my Grand Tarot Baleen. I really love this deck. The Grand Tarot Baleen and the Noblet are the only decks, Marseille decks, currently on my desk. This one feels very cheery. I love the rosy cheeks. It really puts me in a good mood, and the cardstock is beautiful. I really love the pips in this deck. And it's like really easy to see the keywords, even though I don't speak French. I could easily map out what it's saying on the bottom, which is cool. Easy to make sense, but it's a really special, happy deck. Okay, and then 2 more, I think. This is the Archangel Power Tarot cards by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. I put this deck on my bookcase and then I immediately took it back off and put it on my desk. I've been using this deck a lot. I love shuffling it. It's so much fun. Also, it's a very... it takes the scariness away from tarot. So I like the keywords because it talks about, you know, kind of like the solution of the problem, and it's just a lighter perspective of each card. So I really like, you know, even the negative cards, it has a nice solution to your problem. But I've been using this deck every day and it's really cool. I like the cardstock on this older edition too. It's really fun to shuffle. And the Living Altar Oracle. This deck is very artistic. I love the back, or I love the edges. I love the backs. It has like that spot gloss on there, and then it has rose petal cardstock, which suits the deck perfectly. There's something about it that I don't understand, but it's like one of the most unique decks in my collection that I really love. And I love how large it is. I think that's it. I have a few other decks on here, but I don't know if I want to show them. This is my handmade Oswald Wirth by Kartograme. I like to use my pendulum. I like to fan these cards and use my pendulum. I usually like to draw about 3 to 5 cards, usually 4. I'll go right in the middle. But this is like a perfect deck to use my pendulum. It's really pretty. It's also getting softer too, but the backs are gorgeous. And then I guess I'll just show you this last deck because I can. The Syrian Starseed Tarot. I love it. It's beautiful. The Emperor is one of my favorite cards in here. It's out of print. This is one of my favorite cards too. That's the King of Pentacles. Okay, that's it. Please like my video, please subscribe, and yeah. So, that's it. Alright, thank you, bye. Hey you guys, I can't forget the stones. These are the crone stones. I've been working with these every single day. And they are worth mentioning. These are really good for beginners like I am. If you're just getting into stones or, you know, like runes, also like, what is it called? Charm casting. I would definitely get these first. I think they're really well done. The structure of them is really nice, easy to remember, and just like with the art, like these symbols are so easy to remember. I pretty much got these all memorized, and I've only had it for like a week. So these are the Crone Stones by Carol Campbell. They are definitely a new favorite of mine, so I thought I would share them. Okay, thank you, bye.